Hello, welcome to West Ham Grumble on Irons United with me, Alf Gasparo. So, what a week it's been in the West Ham world. Here is the news. Hernandez goes off sick with an earache, but then flies off to sunny climes to supposedly have his earwax removed by some hot water. Who knows? I have no idea what's going on. Apparently, there are rumours, you heard it first here or there or whatever, that the owner of PSG is in the market to go and buy a Premier League club, and he's looking at West Ham. That could be complete fake news, or it could be true. Who knows? But you heard it here first, second or third hand. Who knows? Right, what happened at the weekend? Well, we all went to the London Stadium. Well, not all of us, about 60-odd thousand, I should say. And coupled with another 100-odd thousand tourists that seemed to be milling around the stadium. Yeah, it was a bit chaotic pre, during and after the game. We entertained Leicester, who came for a bit of an end of season jolly, I think, and I don't think we were that much better either. Let's face it, you know, the first half we really haphazard play. First 15 minutes we were kind of all over the place, really slow in the build up throughout the whole match. Every time we got it on the flanks, we kept on trying to go down the wing, and we weren't really getting anywhere. As opposed to getting into just crossing into the final third, there was always an opportunity for an early cross, a diagonal cross, you know, almost Beckham-esque, if you like, into the box, and every single time we failed to see that opening. And that's what it was. We were failing to see the opportunities that are presented before our eyes. They kept on trying to go down the right-hand side with Antonio, and he grew into the match, and he was a bit of a bull in the china shop, and you know, he got there. He was being fouled a lot, and we get onto the refereeing decisions throughout the whole match, which were atrocious, really, but we'll get onto that in a minute. But he kept on being fouled, but also he was kind of, you know, getting too worked up by it as well. Just get on with the game, just get on with it, you know. Anderson, where was he in the first half? You know, hardly saw him at all. Noble, I thought, had a great game in this sense, along with Rice, who made a couple of mistakes early on in the game, Rice, but then he, you know, grew into the game and did fantastically well as well. You know, some great interceptions here and there, especially in the second half, you know, where they were in cleaner on a box. You know, he sort of snuffed that out. So, you know, on the whole, in the centre of the park, did really well. Snodgrass, again, the terrier-like, you know, attitude, great work ethic. I'm a big fan of Snodgrass. Not for his technical, you know, capability per se, but more about his work ethic. And I'll get onto that a little bit later on as well, because this is a big grumble coming on. Arnautovic, what you can say about Arnautovic? Look, he was pointing where he wanted the ball played, but he's not really got that striker's intent, has he? You know, to, you know, get in front of the defender, you know, and he crosses, you know, get into the 6-yard box. Look, I think that the service to him was really poor because it wasn't where he wanted it. So if you've got a striker up there who's saying, look, give me the ball in this particular area, and it's not getting there, you know, we've got to look at that. Look, I've always complained about our crosses not getting into the box, or the lack of crosses, full stop. However, in this match we did put a lot of crosses in, but they were either poor crosses or there was nobody there. The first decent cross came from Arnautovic in the first half. He was on the right hand side, got to the byline, fizzed across a 6-yard box, but there was nobody there. The second best one was from Noble, who just, you know, kind of neat interchange of play, got out onto the left side, left wing, you know, who knew he could be there. But he kind of came inside a little bit, just whipped a ball across, and there was Antonio in the striker's role, where Arnautovic, you know, you probably should have said he should have been there. But look, you know, you could argue that Arnautovic was always pulling away to the edge of the penalty area a lot of the times, you know, trying to create space for himself, and he's also pulling defenders away. So I'm not going to be too critical on Arnautovic, but I think, you know, he was ineffective. The service to him was poor as well. Antonio got better and better in the game. He a great header, you know, and that's what we needed, you know, from him. But I was saying, you know, during the match, and I was tutting to myself, throughout the whole match that, you know, we've got to watch Leicester on the counter, and they had about 3 opportunities in the first half where they turned us inside out, and they had kind of feeble shots on goal, but the writing was on the wall that they could, you know, score at any moment. And that's what they did in the second half. They came at us, you know, counter-attacking side. Masuaku and Ogbonna both making mistakes in those, you know, defensive areas. But it's not just a defensive frailty, it's a midfield frailty as well. You know, not pressing enough when teams come at us. And then we're not, you know, when we're in good possession of the ball, it's great, you know, it's, you know, side to side. Sometimes it goes backwards, sometimes we're going forward. We're trying to keep possession of the ball. But when we lose the ball, invariably we do, then we're just inviting teams back onto us, and that's what we did. We weren't snuffing out their strength, and their strength is counter-attacking side. And against Vardy, who just beat Balbuena on the first you know, cross, you know, got ahead of Balbuena, who I thought had a good game for us, actually looked really classy at the back. But Masuaku, the second goal, he just ran past him really, and he just let him get away from him. So, you know, well, what can I say? You know, defensive frailties, midfield frailties, and not pressing the ball enough, and that's what, you know, let 2 goals in. You know, we had our goal. You know, when, look, if you're anything like me, when they took off Snodgrass and they took off Noble as well, you know, for the substitutions, and, you know, they brought on, who did they bring on? They brought on Obiang, oh my god, Obiang, and Perez, oh my god, Perez the pariah, but, you know, all our hearts sank, and we thought, crikey, here we go, why have you just subbed these 2 players who were playing really well, I should say, and then brought those 2 on? But actually, they played really well, I thought, and then look, and they both had a hand in the goal. You know, Obiang drove forward, took a shot, hit the post, kind of rebounded it out. Perez, I don't think really knew that much about it. Hit his foot, went in, you know, from the 6-yard box, and that's it. It was a goal. You know, so they did great, and I think afterwards they were doing some good stuff as well. Again, Obiang and Perez sort of linked up in the centre of the park. Obiang sort of nicked the ball off one of their players in the centre of the park. Great weighted pass forward, ran onto Perez. He sort of went around the keeper and scored. But it was deemed offside, and we all know, if you look back on the footage, it was about a good metre, as Pellegrini says, a good metre inside. No, it was, you know, a good couple of feet or whatever it was, 2.5 feet possibly, nearly 3 feet, who knows? Maybe it was a yard, who knows, whatever. But it was well onside. And, you know, that should have been given a goal. Look, we can talk about VAR all the time. We can talk about refereeing decisions all the time. But essentially is this. VAR is only going to sort out those kind of decisions, those kind of, you know, offside to a goal decisions, penalty decisions, red card decisions, that kind of thing. It's not going to go against all decisions. But if you look at the game, if you were at the game, or if you're watching extended highlights or live streaming or whatever you're watching in the world, of course, the referee was making some awful decisions that won't be addressed by VAR next season. And that's the thing. I think a lot of fans are going to say, when a VAR next season is going to sort it all out. It won't. It won't. You're still going to have interpretation. You're still going to have referees making colossal mistakes. And that's what was happening throughout the match. You know, we were getting fouls that just weren't picked up. We were getting throw-ins that weren't given the wrong way. All this sort of stuff. Then you get the offside decisions. Then you get disallowed goals. And they're going against us the last few games. And that's it. We're dropping points or we're losing matches, you know. So, you know, they've got to shapen this up. They've got to work on this whole refereeing quality and consistency, and looking at the feedback that the referees get to make better decisions at the end of the day. And VAR is going to come in next season, of course it is, and it's going to help address a lot of issues. But it's not going to address all issues, you know. So, you know, they've got to be sharper with that. Let's talk about Fabianski. Again, he was very solid, really commanded his box. Yeah, I know he let 2 goals in, but we can't really put those down to Fabianski. You know, he saved quite a few. You know, he was assured in the first half and most of the second half as well. So again, a great game. I said Balbuena already had a classy match. Zabaleta, I thought, had an indifferent match. I thought he had some good moments, and I thought he had some weak moments as well. Same for Masuaku. Again, there was a big call, I think, and I questioned this as well later on by some who said, well, he had a great game against Man United, so he has to start for here. Well, for me, that doesn't work. Just because you have one great game, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to start the next game. It really depends who else is available in the squad. For me, I think if Creswell was still fit or had returned to fitness, I think I'd still give Creswell a nod over Masuaku because of his reliability. That's not to say because he's a better left back, he's a better defensive option. Masuaku was a better attacking option on the left-hand side. So, we've got to look at that, but I don't necessarily think that he is a starter just, based on one performance. However, he did play reasonably well, but he did let their counter-attacks go past him 2 or 3 times during the match, and for that I'm going to have to mark him down. If you look at the extended highlights, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, worrying times, I think. We've got players that, you could say that they're just running down the season, or they're just, trying to put themselves into the marketplace, putting on for the next season. We've got a massive issue this whole season about an imbalanced side. We've been hit by injuries. Of course, it's Pellegrini's first side. He's been struggling in the first half of the season. He was struggling for his favoured starting 11. Then he's kind of been patching together a team all season. We've had the Arnautovic saga, of course. We've had Hernandez, throwing shots left, right and centre. It just hasn't been a glorious season. And we haven't really pushed on from, not the first season, but we've pushed on from last season, but not the season before, perhaps. But, I think we expected a lot more, didn't we? We expected a lot more because Pellegrini come in, Hugilis was there, all the signings that we made, big money, but they've been so inconsistent at best. And that's the thing, we need to find consistency. We need to have a band of brothers, in that team who think as a team, who think as that hive mind. They're not thinking as individuals. They want to play for the team. That's why we need to shed a lot of these players. We need to get rid of the players who are not there for the team. We need, and I've said it before, we can't necessarily expect that we have to sell and buy like for like in terms of quality, but we need to have greater committed players, and we need to have, possibly players that aren't as talented in a lot of the key areas, but are very good, solid, good workman-like players. And or certainly have those in the squad where we can put those into those tough games, those gritty games, that we're going to have to eke out results when, it's when we talk about winning ugly. And I think that's what we're going to have to do with that squad next season. Look, it's going to be a big summer coming up. Transfers galore. Which players are going to come, which players are going to go. That kind of thing. But I think we've got to raise up for Tottenham. I think we will. That's the problem. That's why it infuriates me so much that you can go and watch us against the Leicesters, the Evertons, whatever. The Burnleys, and we kind of. It runs a bit flat. Then we pick ourselves up for these other teams. Well, we shouldn't be doing that. The mentality shouldn't be there that we're kind of yo-yoing, between matches. We should be at a constant level, or striving to be a constant level. And we love a tryout, and we love our players to try and bust a gut, and we haven't really seen that enough. The reason why, everybody's waxing lyrical about the Man United game. Oh, we played fantastically well. Let's not forget, Man United was shocking, and they gave us so much time and space in the middle of the park so we could play our football. Leicester were a different proposition. I knew it was going to be tough. I knew they were going to be pressing us a little bit more. And our build-up was so slow. And I said to a few people, crikey, old men could run up that field quicker than our strikers could, or our midfield could. The build-up was so slow, and we need to be quick on that. We need to be making quicker decisions when we're passing the ball and looking for that killer pass. That diagonal ball, that early ball. And look, can somebody please tell me why none of our players want to take a shot? Now, I think what it is, this is a tactical issue by Pellegrini, because he wants us to keep possession of the ball and not just take an aimless shot and that gives away possession, let's say. But come on, take a bloody shot. Take a shot somewhere. 25 yards out, and, they're pecking out the defence, and they're sitting deep. That's going to, cut down the space that we have. You can't walk the ball in. We're not good enough to walk it in. So you need to start taking shots. There was Anderson in previous games and this game. Lanzini in the last few appearances he had quite a few opportunities. We've had opportunities all over the park from lots of different players who just haven't taken shot. It was only until Obiang came on that we actually took a half decent shot on goal. And guess what? He hit the post, rebounded out, Perez scored. You know, that's where it is. Anyway, look, as I say, lots to discuss. We could go on for, infinitum about this. We need more commitment from the players. We need more consistency from the players. Better decisions from Pellegrini all over. Lots of players need to go. Lots of players need to come in. Not necessarily stars, but we need really decent workmanlike players with a bit of talent as well. And hopefully, as I say, this transition year, which I thought it would be, I thought we'd do better. I thought we'd get 7th this season. No chance we'll do that now. But, I thought we'd do a lot better, but it is a transition season. Year 2 under Pellegrini, this is where we judge him, in my opinion. This is where we judge, the players. And some of those players that are there right now that are not really pulling their weight 100%, if they do decide to stay, then I tell you what, right from the very first game of the season, they need to pull the socks up and roll the sleeves up and get on with it. Otherwise, there'll be no favours from the fans, towards those players. They need to sort themselves out. As for the board, well, look, all you can say is, regardless of the, the kind of dissension in the ranks, if you like, amongst the fan base, towards what you feel towards them, what you don't feel towards them, what you feel about the stadium, all that kind of stuff. Look, hey, they give us a brand new carpet, and I got to say, the carpet around, the stadium looked pretty good. It wasn't that bad, you know what I mean? But I will say it is a bit bloody American football-like, if you know what I mean. If you ever watch American football games, it is a little bit like that. And, but I'm not going to moan about it because it is what it is. We're there now. I can't keep on harping back to where we were before, Upton Park. We're there now. It's going to be a gradual thing. And I've always said it's going to take a generation for us to start to feel comfortable in that place. But it's about the football. It's about the football. It's about the squad. It's about the decisions that we're making. And hopefully the refereeing decisions that are coming against us. But I want to see more commitment. I want to see more guile. I want to see better performances all round. And I don't want to see haphazard play. Let's make tactical decisions. Let's make quantitative changes to our squad so that next season we're actually playing with purpose. We've got a plan. We know where the ball needs to be. We know where we're running off each other the whole time, and we can play as a team rather than individuals. Right, so this has been my West Ham Grumble. I've gone on a little bit, haven't I? But look, players going off sick, left, right and centre. Injuries galore, not playing in any consistency. We crap going forward in the final third, let's say. Defensive frailties all over the place. If it wasn't for Fabianski, we'd be, in relegation zone, let's say. He's my hammer of the year. I'm sure you're going to agree. Don't disagree, don't. And, well, look, I'll catch you after the Spurs game. Let's see what we can do. Up the hammers. See you then.